Welcome back YouTube and Diablo Immortal fans. Today we're going to be going over some of the Tempest class abilities. First off, let's just showcase the cosmetic. This is the old Battle Pass cosmetic here. Weapons and the outfit. And this is what it looks like with the helmet. In case you guys are wondering whether you should choose on a different class or not. Now, there's quite a bit of stuff to go over. So let's just start with Paragon. You're going to have to go through your Paragon trees and fill out what you think you're going to need. I filled out all of Slinger. I filled out most of Brawler, so most of Survivor, Gladiator, and all of Vanquisher. I just put points around because I had so many points, but over to the left-hand side here, I'm using the Slinger Paragon. I'm using Unseen Dynamism. This should be giving me some extra damage. Impulsive increases decreases the loss rate of dynamism. This increases the stacks of dynamism, and then again increases the critical hit chance when I'm using it, and also some damage. So I believe this is probably the most damaging. It used to be the most damaging before it changed, so I also think it's the most damaging after the change. So that's the Paragon I'm using, and it takes a lot of stuff to read into. It is a little more simplified once you get around to it, but it takes a little bit of learning. I'm just going to switch a different familiar on because why not? So what I'm going to do right now is go over a build for open world farming and movement. So currently I have a combat rating over 36k, but what I'm looking at is my movement speed. 13% is the base that we're going to be looking at. With 13% movement speed, might as well go over some of the gear. I'm using Isatar, so that when I kill an enemy, I gain movement speed, and that should be giving me a flat 25% damage increase. Vthus, everybody loves Vthus. That's going to increase the duration of the buffs that I am using. And finally, after that, I have a couple pieces of Shao Boss for primary attack damage, and also it has beneficial effect on it. This one has skill cooldown reduction. So it's just that the two-piece Shao Boss was two of my better pieces to go there. As far as the legendary essences go, we're going to be using Sumptuous Swell. This is going to allow a Cascade, one of our new skills, to periodically unleash bursts of water. This ability is similar to some of the other abilities that constantly unleash area damage. The third skill, or the top second skill, the blue skill here, this is Cascade. So as you can see, when you use it, it is a buff, has a duration, and it pops out damage. The range of that damage, I'll show you how far it reaches out. Right there. What that means is you're probably going to have to be aiming towards the groups, running close to them. It makes you and your Zephyrs, as you can see, the Zephyr was over there busting out the water. So even when you run through a group of monsters, if a Zephyr appears, it's also going to be putting out the AE. So that's the Cascade helmet. That one will move with you. Even with everything on, it moves with you. I like that. So it's extra damage for moving. Again, movement speed, open world farming. The next one we have, that was our helmet piece. The chest piece, Cascade, again, increases your movement speed by 40% for 2 seconds when it strikes an enemy. So we saw my movement speed earlier. Now as Cascade is going on, we're going to take a look at my movement speed here, and it is 53 from 13, 40% movement. As I'm running around open world farming and the Cascade is hitting, even from the Zephyr, Zephyr's over there hitting it, I am not hitting it, we have movement speed 53. Even if the Zephyr's hitting, that's going to increase your overall movement speed. It's not 70%, so it's not quite as fast as some of the Crusader stuff that I'm used to, but 53 is pretty good. It is what it is for now. So those two are for Cascade, and then next we have Storm Fury empowers only me, causing my primary attacks to release a violent storm, damaging and pulling enemies in. So every third primary attack. It's pretty interesting. I've seen it proc in open world, and that's just going off my primary attacks. And as the primary attack hits, it will cause that storm, and you'll see every now and then monsters get pulled in towards you. And there's nothing else that does that for us, so that is the Stormmaker doing that. Next, our Zephyrs increase our attack speed for 7%. This is more or less for when you hit a boss or Ancient Elite or something while open world farming. You need a little extra DPS. While you're standing there, you're just going to get a little extra attack speed. The reason is that is when you go to look at the essences for legs, not much else is going to help this build at all. To the primaries, we have Rolling Surf now empowers our edge, causing you to Zephyrs to do primary attacks from swirling whip strikes. Alright, at the bottom left is the skill. So it helps us run around movement speed. Speaking of movement speed, it doesn't quite get you to 53. 48%. So while I'm on this, I'm at 48%. But when I have both buffs running and I'm hitting monsters, it will be at 53%. Let me go hit a target so you can see that it's 53% still. Even with both buffs running, 53%. So they do not stack at all. But the good thing is, since I don't have 100% uptime on the, I guess you can call it the water mount, then while it's down, mostly my cascade is going to be popping off. So between the 48 and 53% run speed is going to be pretty much up 100% of the time. Back over here to primaries. The Rolling Surf, like I said, is giving us that damage to our primary attack. And the next Wind Edge becomes empowered every 6 seconds, cause your next attack to release a piercing wind that slices through enemies. Not much else that we can put here that's going to help this build as you go and look through the abilities. And since this one is causing our primary attack to do a swirling whip, you don't have to worry about area effect or range. So I took Wind Edge for my primary attack over Wave Edge for that particular reason. So I'm not worried about Wave Edge. Alright, we're doing Wind Edge because I can get a buff for Wind Edge here, and this just overwrites that anyways. Again, Wind Edge becomes empowered. Every time you use a skill, your primary attack deals extra damage to enemies. So that's good, that's great. And then the Zephyr damage. Again, not a whole lot of extra stuff to choose from here when you look through all the essences you can get. I am missing about 15 essences, but even out of the ones that I am currently missing here, the Cascade Helmet, maybe there's something there we can look at later. These, not so much for open world farming, but again, as I get the new essences, and if I do come across one that doesn't work quite right, or one that works better, I will go ahead and let you know. Speaking of letting you know, in case you are looking at different things, this one, Rolling Surf critical hits cause an extra explosion of water, dealing damage to nearby enemies. You might think that's great if I'm going to be using Rolling Surf all the time. I tested it, and the Cascade, periodically unleashing bursts of water, did about 20% more damage on the training dummy than the other. Plus, if you don't have that helmet for the Cascade, it will not move with you. Therefore, the chest piece will also not be beneficial. You won't ever get 53% running speed. You'll be stuck at 48 or whatever your 30% plus your base is. So enough talk about the build itself. I'm going to do a couple bounties while we showcase the build. So many extra things with the Tempest. Not only do you have your 4 primary skills, which before we get running off here too fast, I did only show you 3 skills. I showed you the Rolling Surf that we're using. It's going to be empowering our primary attacks and increasing our movement speed. I showed you the Storm Fury, which again is going to affect our primary attacks. Showed you Cascade is going to be doing area effect damage and helping our movement speed. Lastly, Squall. I have this because it's a teleport type dash skill, and I like it. I don't have to target many things. I can just tap it. It's going to hit the nearest group. For movement, it's pretty nice out here. You'll see me using it quite often. And again, the wind edge, and you guys see all the stuff that it can do. Well, while we're here at the skills, the mist touch, it does so much. So much. You can keep reading it. I have the Zephyr attack bonus, Zephyr damage. It's going to be dropping these mist touch orbs. If I see one, I'll stop and show you guys what it looks like. But let's go ahead and get to some killing here. Again, movement speed, there's a slight pause when you cast that, not as continuous as like casting a horse mount. We'll go ahead and hit these monsters here. So you can see the primary attack. This is the normal primary attack. And with this is the mounted primary attack. So it is area effect, hits everything around. So we're good. We're going to keep moving forward. There's a little boss up there. Teleport right to him. Teleport right back. Is what it is. And that's what I was saying about that last dash skill. It's pretty nice for moving around. Now, for open world farming, I don't have 100% uptime on these skills and abilities. As you'll be able to see, I will go back over what kind of duration buffs I have, so you guys can get an idea of how much you might need to get that to 100%. This is definitely not the only open world farm build, and currently, since this Tempest has just been released today, I will not venture to say that it is the best. I have a lot of fun with it. I think it has great potential for being the best movement speed farm build. So I am enjoying it so far. I've been doing a couple bounties with it, and everything's dying, as you can see. That's another good thing. The DPS is over 1 million DPS for myself. And when you're doing open world farming, it's kind of one of the goals you want to shoot for, getting over 1 million so that things just die as you run over them. And there, I'll show you. I know I'm trying to pick up some stuff. Teleport to the group. And I just run through the pack. I don't have to stop to attack the stuff. It will die as I run over it. I'm just going back and picking up loot. But everything is dying as I touch it, as it gets hit. And that's really what you want for open world farming. Everything to die as you hit it. So I'm not going to go through all these bounties, not going to waste your time with this. Again, as updates come out, as I see, there was an orb. Hope you guys saw it right at the last moment there. One of those orbs that you can read on a skill for your passive skill. Does quite a few things. I'm glad I got to see that and show that to you real quick. You might have to pause the video, go back and take a look at that orb, because it was right there. It was quickly on the screen. Oh, here's another one. That's the orbs right there, as you saw it right to the left of my character. So then, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative a little bit, and I hope you can make your own builds and share them. And if you have something better or something that doesn't work, please post it. Happy hunting, and enjoy the new Tempest.